This is the Casio CT-S200. We're going to unbox it together, take a look at it, and I'm going to explain to you guys why I bought this thing. So this video is not sponsored by anybody. I bought this with my own money, and I have a good reason. I bought this thing because I wanted to have a backup keyboard to put in the trunk of my car just in case anything happened to my main rig when I'm playing gigs. And this kind of stems from the issue of lugging heavy gear around. So as keyboard players, sometimes we lug around multiple keyboards, we lug around amps, stands, benches. It's not unusual to have a big cart with 100 pounds of crap on it. And I have to tell you guys, doing that since I was 14, I'm 33 now, it just breaks your back. It wrecks your shoulders, it wrecks your arms. I am in pain all the time from lugging heavy gear. So I made the decision this year to start carrying around a 61 key Yamaha MG12XU, which weighs about 10 pounds. I put it on my back, and I have a very lightweight keyboard stand that I use with it. And that is it. That is my rig. And just traveling with that lightweight setup has changed my life completely. I highly recommend it. However, because I'm traveling with just one keyboard, I had this thought recently that I could be playing a festival or a corporate gig or something really far away, and my one keyboard doesn't work, or I forget the power adapter or something like that, and I can't make any noise on the gig. And that's a nightmare. You get fired instantly. So I thought, let me get the cheapest thing ever that will make noise and put it in the trunk of my car just to have a backup. So I'm definitely not the intended customer or target for this product, but we're going to see if it's any good and if it can serve that specific purpose. It comes with a power adapter. I'm very surprised. I thought that that would be a separate thing and that I'd have to run this on batteries, so that's a really pleasant surprise. Way to go, Casio. Oh. Okay. We get a music stand desk. This is very surprising. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so now that our Casio Tone CT-S200 is all set up, we can take a closer look at it together. This thing is honestly very well built. The plastic is quite a bit thicker and more sturdy than I had thought it would be. It's not twisty or anything like that. I don't feel like it's gonna break in 2 seconds. The buttons feel really, really nice. Overall, it's very impressive for 140 bucks. The music stand is a nice touch. It goes right into the handle area here, which is very clever. This handle honestly reminds me of that Steve Vai Ibanez guitar with the handle. I don't know why, I just think it's kind of funny. But the handle's very convenient, no doubt, and a great thing for kids to be able to transport this around. We have 49 keys. We have 2 speakers. I'm assuming the sound is coming through in stereo. I am recording here into Logic, and it does sound like a true stereo signal, so that's cool. Although I will say the output on the back is a small 3.5 millimeter output, like a headphone output, which is not the end of the world. It's actually pretty convenient, but most pro-level instruments would have 1/4 inch left and right outs. You're not going to get that here, which is totally understandable because the intended target for this thing is not pro-level musicians. At the end of the day, my personal reason for buying this thing is kind of comical and silly, but in my eyes, it's practical to have a backup keyboard in the trunk of your car, just in case. Now, this thing does not come with a sustain pedal, so you are gonna have to buy one, but they're about 10 or 15 bucks on Amazon or Sweetwater. Just make sure that you get one with a polarity switch, because some keyboard makers make their pedals in a way that if you push it down, there's no pedal. If you release, everything is sustained, and that's the opposite of what you want. So you need that switch so that you can use the pedal universally with any brand of keyboard. So I'm not gonna bother going into specs too deeply because there are tons of reviews that do that, and you guys can read all this stuff on your own online. I don't need to list a whole Excel spreadsheet of facts. I just want to tell you what it's like to actually own this thing, play it, touch it, feel it, use it. That's really what I hope you're gonna get out of this. So let's make some noise with this thing. I have the default stereo grand piano patch up here. Okay, interesting. So as you can hear, there's not much sustain in the piano, right? you kind of hear the attack, right? And then it's just gone. It's obviously very bright. Let's just keep going and see what else there is. Okay, that's just called grand piano. This one's called bright piano, like the others weren't bright enough. Okay, there's a little DX7 under there. Here's an interesting one. We have bass and piano kind of split along the lowest octave here. Harpsichord. Yeah, not really usable. Okay, there's a Rhodes. Not terrible. Uh-oh, FME piano. Okay, that captures a lot of the character of the full tines patch on a DX7. It's actually not bad. But again, you can hear that with these samples, there's an attack and then it's just dead after a millisecond. Right? The decay and the sustain are really, really poor on a lot of these sounds. But again, it's a toy, right? I'm not the intended target for this thing. Not terrible. A little bit different there. I like that one best. Where's my sustain? Nothing sustains. You guys hear it? Like all these sounds are just, they're just dead instantly after the attack. Not bad. Yeah, I can live with that. I'll never use it. You know, the synth brass is kind of surprising. There's that initial blip of the envelope filter when you hear the detuned, right? One of the oscillators is kind of coming down in pitch. Hear that little out of tune attack? That's kind of the secret with synth brass. That's actually pretty good. It's not terrible. So now that I'm being a total goofball and going through every single patch and playing what comes to mind, hopefully you have an idea of the types of sounds that this thing can make. So it's not bad for $140. Now there is more that it can do. There's a built-in metronome, there's some built-in rhythms, built-in songs, things like that. So let's see, let's check out some other stuff. That's actually fun. What else? So the more I'm playing around with this thing, the more I kind of enjoy it. It's about the limitations of an instrument sometimes and the little cage within which you can work that makes something inspiring. Oftentimes when you're encountered with something, let's say a montage workstation, right, where there are too many options, too many layers, too many patterns, you kind of just get lost in the sauce. But this thing is so simple. It's a toy. It doesn't really have dynamics, right? Right? Everything's at the same volume. There are no dynamics. That's just the way it is for the price point. But I'm having fun with it. And if I had kids, I would totally buy this for my kids so that they could have a feel of the piano, get to know the piano keys, mess around with some rhythms and songs. I mean, why not? I think it's great. Now, will I keep this thing? Yes, I will keep it because it didn't cost much. It will fit in the trunk of my little car. And I know that I have a backup. I have something that will make noise. Even if it's not amazing noise, the DX7 patch and the Rhodes patch are pretty usable, and I guarantee that nobody in the audience will be able to tell, especially in a band setting with a bass player, drums, singers, guitar, whatever. It'll just be something that lets me make noise. Now, if you're watching my channel, you're watching tutorials, and you want to learn the piano, and you're asking me, as people often do, what should I buy? I would not recommend this, but there are a lot of keyboards that Casio makes for not much more that have 61 keys, they have dynamics, they have touch sensitivity, right? This does not. If I play the key like this, or do this, you get the same exact velocity, right? There is nothing, there's no variation. That's not good when you're learning how to play a musical instrument. Okay, so I'm on Sweetwater, which is the choice of many musicians here in the US. And okay, so here it is. This is what I bought. 139 Casio Tone CT-S200. So if you go a little higher, check this out. CT-S300. This has pitch bend, 61 keys, which is what I recommend. 48 note polyphony, that's good. Doesn't look like it has dynamics. This one, however, LK-S250, this has touch response. Look at that. So, and it's 61 keys. That's a better bet, and you're looking at only 40 bucks more. And I bet if you go on Reverb or Facebook Marketplace, you can pay 140 or less for that used. I'm a big fan of buying used gear. Don't be afraid to buy used gear. Let someone else take the depreciation hit and buy used. It's great, most of the time. Now this one, Casio CTX700, I have this one, actually. I don't have it here, but I think it's at my wife's school. But this thing is great. This has touch sensitivity, 61 keys, plenty of sounds, patterns you can play with, a lesson system, light up keys. This is what I would get at the minimum if you're looking to learn the piano. And of course, a sustain pedal, a decent stand that puts it at a height where your hands aren't like this, right? I've seen people buy little keyboards like this. They put them on their desks or on top of their dresser and they're playing like this. Don't do that. Ergonomics is everything. You want your elbows to be relatively parallel. In fact, you want to be a little bit higher. That's a whole other video. But that's at the minimum what I'd be looking at if you're sticking with Casio. And of course, as you keep going up, Yamaha EZ300, all of this stuff is good. I'm a big Yamaha fanboy. All these Yamaha 61 key things here, these are all great. These bundles with stands, benches, all that, you can't go wrong if you're learning the piano for the first time. Now, if money is less of an issue, my recommendation is to start off with 88 weighted keys, because a piano has weighted keys. They have wooden keys. There are hammers, there are dampers, there's a whole mechanism, there's weight to the keys that you don't get with something like this because this is plastic, right? You're not really gonna build any proper piano technique with this kind of a thing or a feel for what a piano is supposed to feel like. So if you can go for a weighted, full-size 88-key keyboard, do it. Again, Casio dominates the entry-level segment here. I've played these before, Casio CDP S360. This is $539. These are very decent if you're just starting out. They're not my favorite action in the world. I find them to be a little bit sloppy, a little bit sluggish, but For the money to get weighted keys that simulate a real piano, it's pretty incredible. Of course, I know I sound like a broken record, but Yamaha is the best. Yamaha is a little better. I really, really like this one, the Yamaha P225. This is $750 though. I bet you can find it used for a little bit less. I've got reverb pulled up here. Anything Yamaha with a P in front of it is their digital piano series. So even things that are recently discontinued, like the Yamaha P125, these are great. Yeah, look at that, B stock in white, $429. That's pretty great. P125A, P125B. These would be my first choice if you were going for a proper weighted keyboard that feels like a piano. These Yamahas with the letter P in front, the P90, P100, P125, any of those are winners for me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I've never done a gear review before. My intention was not to really do a gear review because, again, I think that there are so many channels that do that well. There are so many videos on these keyboards that you can watch, and the specs are available all over the internet. I honestly just wanted to give you my take as a musician, feeling, touching, and hearing this thing for the first time, what it's actually like and what it actually sounds like to be played. So I hope that this insight was helpful. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.